What's going on, everybody? Welcome into episode number 50, Motorsports Almanac podcast coming at you, pulling season in full effect. We're going to go out a little bit to the west for this interview tonight. The Weger family, K&B Racing, joining us. This is actually an interview we've been trying to nail down for a little while, but time's just now worked out for us. Guys, we know y'all are busy and y'all are fixing to head out to Iowa for this weekend, but thanks for coming on.
Appreciate you having us.
Thank you.
Yeah. Joined as always by Wyatt. What's going on, buddy?
Well, after going for about 4 or 5 weeks straight of doing minis, super farm, and everything else, having a week off was kind of odd.
Yeah.
So, but a week from now I'll be back in Tennessee. So.
Yeah, you will. You're coming down my way. Chapel Hill Line Super Bowl, the South is coming up here in just, man, it's only 2 weeks away, isn't it? The big 50th for them. That's going to be something special. But let's focus down here, going out west on the Outlaws series, the Weger family. You guys have come out this year. I think it's pretty safe to say you guys have made a statement already. I would have a hard time believing you guys aren't leading the points already. I never checked it before we went live, but y'all have to be. Y'all just swept the weekend not too long ago.
Hayden's in the lead with Dad right behind him, and Cody's right behind him in third. So
that's awesome. So kind of talk to us about what that's been like for you guys. Y'all are really getting acquainted now to these tractors and these different tracks that you guys are going to. And I'm sure you guys, being the dirt racers that you guys are, adopting to the different tracks has to help you guys in some shape or form.
Well, when I switched over from sprint cars to pulling tractors, I realized it's a whole lot more calmer, laid back. We ain't 90 or nothing the whole night. Sprint car takes a lot of skill to do, and it definitely wore your body out a lot. That's why I like pulling, because the fan base it has and how chill the whole night goes. It's not scattered around. We bump a tire on our wall. We got to replace the whole front axle before we hit the heat race. So
there's a million things that can go wrong in a night of racing. Like, it's literally the most unpredictable roller coaster, and you can be on literally cloud nine and so excited, and 3 seconds later your whole night ruined. And we've done that, like, I guess this is year 6, and the first couple of years were brutal, and everything possibly everything that could go wrong did go wrong. And, we went in completely blind, and it was a lot to learn. This is a completely different pace, different fun, a lot of downtime, not a ton to do to the tractors before we get going.
On the race car world, you got 25 people you can run over and 25 that can run over you. And they will. Or you will. One of the two.
Someone's getting ran over at some point or another.
It's hard.
Sometimes you can start with 25 cars and finish with 5 for the whole 25, 30 lap main.
I mean, it doesn't mean that everything goes great in tractor pulling by any means, but it's just you and that track, and 20 seconds or so for things to line out perfect for you.
Yeah, and I mean that there's a lot of truth in that too. I've read this a few times just from other pullers. Is for 20 seconds the entire world is just different while you're in that seat. But you guys, I really don't know how you guys balance it, because for everybody that doesn't know that's tuning in for this, these guys are sod farmers. And Mr. Lacey, I think it was whenever we were on the phone earlier, you were talking, it's every 100 acres of sods, the equivalent of 2,000 row crop acres.
Like to running 2,000 acres of row crop for the amount of time that you babysit it, I call it, from mowing every day, every other day. It depends on where you're at in your fertilize schedule. We fertilize every 21 days. Then if you get a little rain shower on and it messes up the schedule of mowing, then you got to bring, get vacuum cleaners out and start sucking the clippings off to keep the grass pretty and green. And then you've got, like today, we've been spraying for army worms. We got lucky. They're going to show up here at the 1st of July, so we'll be spraying for them until fall. We normally here lately they got where they show up more during 4th of July than they do in September. So we get to fight them for about every 3 weeks, on their cycle that they make, trying to break it and get rid of them. So,
but a lot of people think sod farming is just during the summer. Most people that don't know much about it think that you don't cut in the winter, and we do the same number year round. The only thing is summer,
Really?
You're trying to race and tractor pull. You're trying to do 50 other jobs to keep it going in the middle of the heat with massive irrigation, fertilizing, mowing. Like, it's not just a mower. It's, 8 to 10 mowers a day and 8 cutters that go a day. And in the winter, we still cut the same amount. Some of those tasks that you do in the winter, in the summer, you don't have to do in the winter.
you
still
lose all the
cut and ship year-round.
fertilizing, the spraying, the irrigation, vacuum cleaning. You lose a lot of that, which gives us a lot of our time back. Then we just start maintaining and working on equipment, or at the winter times when we do like projects of building big ponds, or we're going to build a building, or anything that we can do in our spare time. Maintenance, a lot of this stuff at that point, you've run it so hard, you're tearing it down, putting new bearings in or whatever on mowers, and changing everything out. And as you get it done, start stacking it up, ready, for next year.
But it's a 7-day a week, round the clock farm. It doesn't stop. The drivers ship on Sundays, and Saturday they're still mowing, irrigating, all of the things. So it literally is 7 days a week. And we were not able to leave this operation until just the last few years. It's kind of one of those things that it runs your life. You don't, it's a lifestyle, and we revolve around it. And so, pulling for points is a really big deal, because we raced the last 2 years for points. Braxton did 120 dirt track races last year with 7 to 8 tractor pulls, on top of 160 to 200 semi-loads a week of sod that we cut and shipped, while maintaining the 2,000 acres to keep it, perfect. So it is a lot. It's a lot to travel on a Thursday to Sunday, come back, have a handful of hours. They jump and run to the tractor. I start unloading laundry. Dirt track world, we're up till 3:00 in the morning. And usually we're driving home that 10 or 12 hours. So exhaustion on Sunday and Monday is intense. And I mean, like, really intense. We don't really feel like a person until Wednesday, and then it's usually time to go again on Thursday. So we'll see how we're going to balance pulling for points, and then keeping Braxton in the race car. It's really tough.
So let me ask you this. With you guys running points, is there any desire there to go to the National Farm Machinery Show in February? I know you said you had been as a spectator a whole lot of times.
You think they're going to have 5.0s there?
I could see it at some point. I'll be 100% honest. I could see it being on a Wednesday night eventually. I'm not sure when, but I didn't know if maybe you guys would throw on the coolers for that for one time, or what you guys would do.
They've been going since they were in diapers. Like that was, we would park a little camper in the parking lot, and it was literally a highlight of February many, many, many years. So to me, it would be a dream come true to be able to pull there, but I don't know how to pull it off with the tractors just yet.
Like I said, I think it's in the works. From just gauging from what we've seen over the last few years, I think it'll be possible.
You definitely have a spot at Clint's pull, that's for sure.
Yeah, you do.
If we get an invitation, I'm sure we'll probably be there. That'd be our what we call the slow time of year, because we're just dealing with cutting grass only during that time frame.
Yeah, I know Midwest Nationals is going to be running 5.0 pros again this January. A little bit more of a heads up this time instead of like last minute like it was last year.
I got reached out for that one, but we would still had to go to the dyno shop with tractors and this now. I'll be a little more prepared next year maybe.
Yeah, we'd love to have y'all there. Last year's field was really great on Saturday. Rodney Schnitker was in that group. Tim Kane was in that group too, wasn't he?
Yeah, Tim took off the big Charger and the cooler. So Tim and Chris were, but problems.
It doesn't matter which pro stock class you're in. There's never a shortage of red. The more red, the better.
We agree.
I couldn't agree
We
more
had a
with
sea
that.
of red over there, all tucked away in their little barn tonight.
I think the two little red twins is kind of making a statement getting started this year.
Yeah, they have. And that's, we talked about this before we went live. We've kind of had eyes on y'all's tractors from the get-go because of the brand new, at the time, the Magnums had just come out with the 340 sheet metal with the new grill and everything. And we had saw El Nino whenever it came out, but you guys did it and automatically eyes went to the tractors, right? So now we're really getting to see what you guys do as far as going to the polls, how well y'all are competing. And I can't get over how well y'all have adapted in such a short time, to be honest with you.
Everything that we do in the dirt track world, I think you can throw it out the window in the tractor pulling world. When I'm trying to read the track one way, whatever you're going to do in the dirt track, when you got to let air out of the tires, you need to put air in the tires on the tractor pulling world, I think.
Still a lot to learn. A lot to learn.
We'll get there, hopefully. And the deal is, running with the Outlaws, there is so many of them guys that would drop anything and help you. It's really a good organization to run with, and that was Tim Engler's the whole deal when I talked to him about building the tractors and what I want to do. He's like, that's the circuit you want to be in. He said, you're going to fit in good with them, and he was right. We have.
Yes,
and as far as jumping in, last year, Caden, we were white riding. We had just gotten the tractors back. I mean, like day or maybe 2 days before the pull, and he had never even sat. He's never even really been in the tractor. And so during the day, they let him do just a tiny little test pull. And then that night was like, it was it. And I don't know. I think he's just a natural. Our boys have been in tractors and equipment since they were seriously 7 and 8 years old. They really started in diapers. What's some of the tractors that you would get with a little buddy seat?
I mean, like little 120, little mowing tractor wise.
So he would always order them with the buddy seat, and they would sit there, as babies. I mean, that's just their life. But then 7, 8, 9 years old, they were running equipment. I'm not saying that's the same as a pulling tractor, but I think they've had a lot of they've grown up in that equipment world. And how would you?
Definitely a lot easier from semis and tractors, all the clutch using you have.
Yeah.
It refers back over.
You ought to see the look on the John Deere guys that brings one of them big tractors over here, and he wants to come out and see how it's done. And, he crawls up in the tractor. He's like, hey, who's running it? Caden. Ain't he like 9 years old? I'm like, yeah. And he goes over and rides in the tractor with him, comes back. So, well, he's doing a pretty good job. I think they get a little nervous whenever they just dropped off at that time, $300,000 or $400,000 tractor, and 9-year-olds running it with a 30-foot cultivator.
But Caden, from the time that you did it last year, the first time to now, comfort level or like adrenaline, being able to think about it, where do you think you've come from, like last summer to now?
Definitely calmed down a lot more. Like I could, going down the track last year, I'll be going over to the edge of the track, and it'd take me a minute to process. I only need to hit my brakes, straighten it out. But now it's like I can think about it a whole lot faster, definitely get on it faster.
Yeah.
Do you remember last year, your first pass, or is it still a blur?
I mean, I definitely remember the day pass.
Yes.
Mine's still a blur to today. So.
No.
That day pass that I had, I gave it like half throttle, dumped the clutch, made it like maybe 50 feet, and then had the actual pull. I don't know what I did between the day pass and the actual pull at night, but something definitely worked out. What I get, third, fourth?
Third, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Outlaws have a tough group of pros out there. The Yarks have been mainstays out there for a really long time. The Wampus Cat, Mr. Barrett out there with his Southern, I think his is either Hillbilly Express, I think is his.
That's Hillbilly Express. And then you got Pedley's too.
And every one of them that you're naming is super good people,
Yeah.
Doug is also running in there with us with what's the name of Doug's John Deere tractor?
Doug Sabatka?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I think it's Let's Go was the name of it.
Let's go.
Let's go. Yeah. So
Yeah,
that whole group is a really good group of people to be involved with, So
it is.
So there's always a start to things, and I don't think you guys have gotten into this yet, but where did the motorsports itch come from? Because obviously you come from the dirt track race. So where did that
Braxton?
start?
I'll let you tell the story first because I could tell my version, but you tell.
You start on your version. I don't really remember this too much.
I remember
don't?
it perfectly.
Yeah, we were in IHOP. We were literally in IHOP, but go ahead.
We wasn't in IHOP. She can tell her story. I think she's got the wrong story. I remember one day I was sitting down, seeing a TikTok or something about Monster Jam, how you could drive it at 16, and then we started getting into racing because our cousin races modifieds. Braxton was talking about how he'd want to drive his modified one time. A couple days goes by, this guy went out and bought a toy trailer with no car, nothing, just upright bought it at a show out
Gotta
here
start
by
somewhere, right?
Choctaw Casino. Then we had I don't know who talked him into getting the go-karts. We bought 2 go-karts. I didn't even run mine. Braxton ran his
One time.
once. Then he has a buddy up there in Tulsa, James Moran, that also does sod farming. He had some micros that his kid raced. Well, we got the chassis, what we wanted. He helped us out on all of that. We got 2 micros, right?
Yeah,
We started with 2.
the way that worked out was Moran, Tulsa Sod and Mulch. He had bought a sod cutter from me, and it's one of them deals. After you talk a few times on the telephone, then all of a sudden he pops up as Facebook. A friend that you might know. When he popped up, it was his boy, on a micro, and I ended up calling him like at 10:30 at night. I'm like, hey, I said, y'all race micros? He's like, oh yeah, and I told him, I said, well, I bought some carts. He's, oh, you don't want them things. I'm like, yeah, I done know that, but I done bought them and everything. He's like, man, I'll get you some chassis. He called, ordered chassis the next day, and he helped us put them together. Him and Kevin Battles, and I guess it was 3 months into it, we was in the micro world, and the end of 19, the first of 20.
And quickly we had 10. We went from 2 to 10 real quick, and we were running all over the United States. And
Hold the camera
we
up.
ran
Let's show 'em all
8
the
classes at the
micros.
Tulsa Shootout. This was our best year at the Tulsa Shootout. But
yeah, we're far from car poor.
Oh my word!
Oh, wait, we got 2 more over here.
Yeah, they're still sitting in there where I get where y'all can actually see them.
We got 2 sprint cars right here.
Well, both of these are get where y'all can kind of see.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna make y'all bigger and make us smaller.
So that's a 360. That's a 360 there. That's Caden's 360 there, and then all these are micros from either A-class Outlaws or non-wing Outlaws, non-wing A-classes there. And then Braxton's 305 is down at One Way Performance down here by Paradise, Texas at Joey Starnes. He's been running with Joey. That's who he'll be going with this weekend. Whenever we go to Rock Valley, Joey will take Braxton out to Amarillo to run out there, and then what's the following week? You're going to where are you going?
Bloomington, Indiana, for a $10,000 to win 305 race Friday, and then we're going to venture off a couple hours. And Saturday we have a $3,000 to win race.
Oh wow!
They'll be running in Indiana, and then you come back for 1 week, and then you're back in Illinois.
Belleville. I think it's Kansas. I think it's somewhere in like South Kansas.
So you can find a track somewhere, no matter where you want to go. You can find one somewhere to run.
But they were
that's for sure.
12 and 15. And like I say, before, when they were baby in diapers, first of all, we were 15, 16 years old going to tractor pull White Right every summer. And then as they were babies, we would go tractor pulls, and then they would go to some dirt track and some NASCAR, but dirt track was always their favorite. And there was one night we were at either Ardmore, I want to say Ardmore or Grayson, and on the way home, they literally said, Dad, why don't we race? Why don't we race? And the next day or the next week, we went to Choctaw. We have a big Choctaw Casino, within 10 minutes of our house. They had a big trailer show, and we went and custom ordered a race trailer and did not own a race car, had never been in a car, had never been around the track. But we had a custom race trailer, and that's literally how it started. And started in the micro world. Going to Port City Raceway was our home track, I guess, to us for micro sprints. That's 3 hours away in Tulsa. And I guess the rest was history. We did, a couple of years. He was still in high school playing baseball, so we didn't race a lot. And then last year was our heaviest year of living in the motorhome, 120 races, and then 7 or 8 tractor pulls. So Braxton's definitely a diehard dirt track racer all the way.
I can't even get him to go tractor pull. I'm afraid he's afraid he's going to like it too much. He's not going to want to go back to dirt track, I think.
Yeah, I was going to ask if that's kind of what's happening. If you guys are kind of starting to favor the pulling over the racing now.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
No.
I'll
Dad
go,
does.
That stays
That's
obvious right there. And he's already got one on the way, and I did not ask for it at all. He will have me a tractor here with my name on it, just kind of shoving me towards it. As soon as the words come out, I like it. I think some race cars will be up for sale.
Yeah. So what's this one going to be called then, or have you guys come up with a name for it yet?
He's got a name
He's got a
for
name.
it, but if you tell it, somebody liable to try to steal
Oh,
it.
yeah.
This is true.
He's got a perfect name.
He's got a name for it.
There
He can tell it because we're going to keep the name no matter if somebody tries to steal it or not. So, my tractors must be nice. I've heard that a few times in my life,
Just a handful of times.
Especially when I'm working on pivots at midnight, out there by myself. There ain't nobody out there helping me. So,
no kidding.
We nicknamed Caden's tractor. It's called Kids Inheritance.
Mm-hmm.
So, tell them what's
Braxton,
yours.
So as I've grown up and all that, I've always heard as soon as someone's seen you had something nice, it's just daddy's money. And so I
That a
thought
boy.
mine would be perfect, named Daddy's Money. Let them know who bought it, because I can promise you I didn't buy it. I didn't sign a check. So,
I think Bomber's going to have a word with you.
Yeah, I think our friends are going to have going to be questioning that one.
I didn't know it was a big deal. Like, you couldn't name the tractor if it already had a name in that class or whatever. So I got to doing some research, and I'm pretty sure there is one other class out there that has it, but the 5.0s do not have a Daddy's Money. So
No, there's no 5.0s that do. No.
So when
That's
go ahead
awesome,
and
though.
lock that name
But
in.
I have to tell you something that most people do not know. So because Braxton literally is at a racetrack every single weekend, right? Since we have been pulling last June, so 7 or 8 last year, 4 or 5 this year, Braxton has never been there when they pulled. Braxton's never watched. He's never been there.
Really?
So literally in the middle of the pool, I'm watching a dirt track as I'm videoing and cheering for them. I'm watching him. So it's all happening. He's always at a racetrack. So he's actually never been to watch Dad and brother yet.
When we got rained out at Ravenna Friday night, he was racing in Hastings,
An
Nebraska.
hour away.
So we jumped in the car and ran down there and watched him race that night.
So
Wow.
I'm not saying he will not get in a tractor, and I'm not saying that he won't like it, but he is a dirt track. It runs in his veins. He breathes it, eats it, sleeps it. It's his entire life. It's his social life. It's his goals and dreams, and I don't think he'll ever change them. He may run the tractor a little bit, but he has huge goals and dreams to go as far as he can in the dirt track world.
Yeah, that's really cool too. I told you guys the amount of knowledge I have on dirt.
If you're that invested, have you ever been to the PRI show? Then
Yes.
we're all okay. I was going to say if you've ever been invested in motorsports, that's one place to go.
Oh yeah. So I'm
We bought
curious.
a dyno. We have a dyno for our race cars. We bought several really cool things there, but we ordered a dyno there. So now Braxton can actually bring his cars and put them on the dyno when they're, needing to be checked, tuned.
Wow, nothing like being able to do it from the house, though, huh?
Yeah,
He's
because
had to learn a
we
lot.
spent a lot of nights at Tim Engler's house up there down
Yep.
on his cars night after night, weeks after weeks.
Yeah, I frequent some nights there at Mr. English place myself a time or two. We're talking
know,
about
I don't
that.
know
Good people.
I don't know if the tractors would have came. I think when you look at the whole, how the tractors truly came about and it really became a reality, I really believe the connection with Tim Engler is 100% what got us there, because Tim Engler is who we use on all of our injection for race cars. So not only has Braxton, stayed at his house multiple times, lived on the phone, had a really close relationship, but we were at the Tulsa shootout and Lacey goes to his booth that day. And this is kind of before we knew him very, as a friend. And when he saw the Tim Engler pulling championships in the booth, I think Lacey's eyes bugged out and he was like, wait a minute. And that's where the connection happened. And that's when he told him he didn't want one, but he wanted two, and it got the ball rolling. So
It just took a few years to get the chassis built.
Still a few years before we got them. But I don't think if we would ever had that connection and put two and two together and had someone who could make it happen, then I'm not sure this whole dream reality, I don't think we would be doing it right now. Because sometimes I still, we used to be the spectators, guys. We weren't, we were the first person there to watch and the last one to leave. Like, he lived and breathed dreaming. Like, I'm telling you, lifelong bucket list dreaming to own a tractor pull. To be doing it is still very odd, surreal, doesn't seem like it's the real deal sometimes, It's
No,
still
it doesn't.
so fresh. So blessed to be able to do it and excited. We're so excited because we were on the other side for so long. And so just having the success that we've had so far is not what we expected in the beginning, because like I say, he's raced for 6 years and we didn't start winning till 2023. So we had 3 or 4 really, really hard years. So to come out and get a couple of wins with people that have been doing this for generations or, many years is very, very, very cool. So can't wait to see what the rest of the season holds.
Yep. So let me ask you this. Now that you have the tractors, I know a lot of the pullers, sometimes it follows them that they want to put on their own tractor pull and become promoters. Has it crossed your mind at one point or another yet?
Yeah, that has a couple of times, especially whenever they went to scratch white right this year. We've done kind of figured out out here at the farm if we can handle it or not, the bleachers. And I think we got everything. We had a pretty good 4th of July party out here. And parking would be a little bit of an issue as far as, we had, probably 500-600 vehicles out here the other day. We was doing good until we got about a half-inch rain where we was parking everybody out here in
our field.
In a field, That would be the only kicker for us is, of course, that's like anything. You get some rain, then you got a muddy mess. So,
Right.
It'll probably be a little bit down the road. I think they're done shooting for White Rat again next year. They're trying to do some talks with him, and we'll probably go in and help them again there, because that's just next year I think it's the 50th year for White Rat, so they're wanting to try to do it on a big one. So.
Wow,
but maybe one day we can do it. Maybe one day we can have a top-notch turf / K&B
pulling surface.
If we do one here, that's going to be a case. Try to get a lot of sponsors for kind of nothing like RJ pulled off the other day, but I think that was a pretty good deal in Iowa up there that they did. I think that was everybody I talked to had a lot of fun, and they said that was run very professionally, I think.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, coming from the dirt racing side of things, where you guys were talking about you guys can go out and win 10,000 here next week or 3,000, and then you kind of came over into the pulling world, and we all know it's not anywhere near the same, right?
Wait, when we race micros, though, we'd finish a race and we'd get $15.
You get $30
in the beginning. In the beginning.
So you have to select your races that you pull. Like your KKMs. KKM races would be 10,000 to win on that Saturday night. But remember what we said a while back. You got 25 people to run over you and you to run over them.
That's if you make the main.
You make the show.
You got to make the show. You got to make the A main.
And you got to last all 40 laps. I mean, you know what I mean?
You got to fight your way up through. Sometimes if you make some bad decisions, you get to fight your way up through some B mains or C mains to a B main and B main to the A main type situation. To even get into the show, but
by no means have we all only raced huge shows like that. I mean, we've, Braxton's won a ton and, maybe only won 300, 500,000. Now he's won some bigger races, but yeah, pulling, I mean, it's definitely a hobby. We're never going to make money, right? But Caden sure likes those little checks that go to his name. Because he just shows up and, gets his tractor ready, does his 20 seconds, and you like
Keep
those
going.
checks. He hasn't complained one bit.
So what did the event in Iowa do for your guys' perspective on it about where pulling can possibly go? After you guys have already seen the dirt racing side of it, what it can do.
what now? What, run it by me again?
So with the way that Iowa was ran and how we were able to pay out $50,000 there to win.
Oh, the Farley. I only got to see some of that on Facebook. Of course, I know Lemke's boy, he won.
They did.
Won the $50,000 up there, and then seen some of the other ones. I just got basically told from Wildman's and about how it was ran that I think I'm sure they're going to probably do it again next year, and I think it'll be even bigger and better from everything that I've heard from it from the guys that was there.
That's amazing, though. It's awesome.
I mean, you're 6 classes, and they pay $50,000 for the winner on 6 classes, plus all the other payouts they did. Because I know, some of them was telling me they got like 10,000, 14,000 winning also.
Now, we've had way more experience in micros than sprint cars. We're just now getting into sprint car racing this year. So, Braxton, as far as sprint car racing, what do you think is one of the biggest purses that you've seen?
So, if there's 3 different classes, how we have the 305s and 360 cars, you can also go to a 410 car, and it is like 1,000 horsepower car. Same frames and everything other than like a little bit of titanium stuff you're allowed to have in the 410 class. But they have like the Eldora 1,000,000 that's like 1.3 million to pay out, but like there's hundreds of cars there. And then you have like Knoxville Nationals, which is like $750,000 to pay out. And you got the King's Royal race, that's like 250,000, I believe. But like to win those races, everything's got to go perfect all night and all weekend, and you got to have a major luck on your side, and just to win those races, like that's a career type thing.
Yeah. Very, very hard.
So if I had to guess, you want to be one of those names on the Eldora 1,000,000 one of these days.
For sure. Yeah.
That's awesome. So how much further, just because I don't have the knowledge of the dirt cars at all, like where are you in relevance to those type of cars now?
So, I mean, we're only one step down. The only thing that's kind of holding us back, we need to get our feet a little bit more wet in the 360 car, just handling the horsepower and all that, because you definitely can get serious hurt if you just jump into a 410 and think, hey, let's go win the Eldora 1,000,000, and you can get hurt because those cars around Eldora and Knoxville, you're running 145 to 150 miles per hour. And so when you start wrecking at that, it takes a little bit for you to stop. So you kind of just need to get more comfortable with the car, because if you're scared, you're definitely going to get hurt. And so we're trying to master the lower classes, and then maybe eventually in a year or two we'll get a 410 and see what we can do.
You also want to master and not be the guy that runs over and tears somebody else's stuff up.
This is true. I've seen those play out on television. That doesn't go well.
They don't go well in 305s or the 360s when you're wrecking them at 80 to 90, 100 miles an hour. It don't go well neither way.
Wrecking is something that, I mean, I can't sit here and I do not have the knowledge of how many like tractor pulling accidents. I don't, because I haven't been doing it enough. But I will say that, I don't almost have a heart attack, literally a heart attack when they pull. I get super excited and I want the tractor to perform and, our setup to work. Races, in the, several years that we've done it, we've had some really, really, really bad wrecks. I mean, we've had some bad wrecks. And Caden was in, one of the worst micro sprint wrecks I've ever seen and a lot of people have ever seen. And so the danger of that sport is, you're kicking it up. It's just a lot more scary. There's so many cars, there's so many things happening at one time, So tractor pulling to me is safer. I don't worry as much as far as about them getting hurt. So the more we go up in classes with racing, we just have to make sure we're ready before we step again. We're in some very difficult classes, a lot of speed, a lot of horsepower with a lot of other cars. So we don't want to jump too soon, but I think one day he'll be ready for it.
Yeah, I think you will be too. What you got, Caden?
I was just saying, watch going.
Yeah, he is. I don't know where he
He's
went.
back.
There he is.
Hayden, what do you think about racing now compared to, I know you love pulling more, but what is your,
I definitely like the sprint cars a whole lot better than the micro.
Mhm.
I like how more professional the series are put on, how professional the drivers are.
Yes.
Too. It's a whole lot. It's more different than a 15-year-old kid than a 45-year-old man.
Smaller
With
the
a team.
smaller the cars, the more drama.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
But the spectators at the tractor pulls is
Holy
where
moly.
it's at. It
Holy
really
moly.
is. They
like president.
Did you hear, Caden?
they come there to see
They treat you
you
like
and,
the president.
and they want to talk
Caden
to
feels
you.
famous. He truly, what would you say, in just the year that you pulled, especially this last weekend, y'all, like Caden's kind of got blown. His little name and his tractor's been like blown all over social media. And I don't think, pulling up to that track, I think about it now, pulling onto that track the other night, you had no idea what was about to take place and how many people would see you, talk about you, be impressed with, your past. So how do you feel about that? Like the fans are crazy. They're like so crazy. We love that.
Feels good.
When you go around it, we're going to change them steering wheel names for one side.
I was fixing to ask you about that when you're going to switch the steering wheels out.
Yeah, he keeps this up, it's going to happen.
We still know about them Outlaw stickers. Caden's Outlaw stickers are in a different
my-
spot.
My turbo cover.
That's right. The only couple differences in the little red twins, but
I was going to say, I can't tell a difference in them just from pictures.
Well,
like
one's got a black and one's got a silver turbo, but they sell more than that's a
we've
bet
wanted
that.
for a long time to put our, to put some graphics on it, but then we loved the clean look and he didn't want to add too much. And so then we played around with some graphics. We weren't just loving them. We wanted to love it before we added something to it. So that's why they've kind of been left plain.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I prefer it without any of the without any writing or even decals. The only decals I like are the ones that we have to run. That's about it. I don't want to put anything extra.
That's pretty well it.
I'll
But
see.
there's usually you can tell the difference between identical tractors, but there's two teams, your team and Connie's, that I cannot tell apart, and I can tell apart a lot.
There's one in Connie's. I can't remember what it was though. I've seen it before.
We've thought about going down on the bottom panel down there,
Something small.
put our something small down there, and put our names on that. Just we're trying to figure out something that we can put.
Just
down there
because
that
we
will
do
jump
have
out.
two and everybody's always wanting to know what's what. But it's funny. I mean, at first I thought Lacey uses a white helmet. Well, Caden still uses his dirt track helmet. We had a really nice helmet painted, and his cars were always blue and orange, and he has a flame car here. And so that's how I always, tell them in pictures, he's using his dirt track helmet that's the flame blue and orange. And now it's I'm okay with it because it sets him apart. But there's a couple of differences. But a lot of people are like, I can't tell. We really want a name on the tractor, so we'll see.
About to
Yeah.
get my helmet, too.
You're about to get a white helmet?
Yeah.
You are?
No.
Well, y'all, we've kept y'all definitely a little bit longer than we had planned on, but thank you guys so much, and hopefully we get to see you guys soon.
Well, we appreciate the time.
Thank you for having us on. We appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
So before you leave, is there any socials or thing you guys need to shout out for so people can follow you on your trails, wherever it's dirt
Hey,
track
do
or
my
pulling?
TikTok. First and foremost, do my TikTok.
I think I've got you on there already. I think.
Just Caden Weger.
He's a really good, talented TikToker. I am not. I just started a K&B Racing. K&B Racing Weger pulling team TikTok a couple years ago to get the boys' name out. And it's slow growth, but I do put pulling and racing. I will say that the pulling has really kind of blown our little page up. People love that. But then we have a K&B Racing page also on Facebook. So just Facebook and TikTok.
Tractor-wise, we can't thank Tim Engler with the Engler Machine and Tool enough to get us where we're at there. Craig Wildman and the Wildman family up there, his brother Kurt, his son Travis, all of them for everything they've done with us on the tractors. So I think he's pulled the motors out of my tractors and put them back in more than he has some of his own. Motor-wise, Lemke Motorsports, that's what we've got in the tractors this year, and Robbie's been great to work with, and it's starting to show that it's paying off there.
Yeah.
Dirt Track World, Jack Hodge, which would be James Hodge, Autoplex, also Tim Engler on that situation there. And then Asco Equipment, our Case IH dealer down here in this area that supports us with on tractor and dirt track racing. So got to give a huge thanks to them, because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be where we are on some.
And, you know, Lori and Dave and everybody at the Outlaw Pulling Association who took in this little rookie team. They had no clue what we were doing. They just showed up with some pretty tractors that really wanted to make our dreams come true, that, you know, kind of had to hold our hand a little bit until we, you know, where do we go? What do we do? What, all the things, you know, what are the rules? There's so much. I mean, they've really welcomed us very, very much, and really made us feel like part of the family, even though we were super new. We got to go to the banquet in, what month was that? October-ish. And November. That was super fun. And
I think December.
Yeah, December. And hopefully we get to be a part of that this year. So we're all new. And Cody and a lot of the other pullers in our class who've always been there, if, you know, we had trouble on the track or we had a belt break a couple times last year, and just people that jump in and help you, that's very, very appreciated.
Yeah, it definitely takes all of that to go around, but hopefully we'll see you guys doing some indoor pulling with us this winter in Indiana. Fingers crossed.
What's fun with that? You don't get to see no smoke.
Yeah, but knowing you guys are going to show up with chrome pipes, and that's just going to make it pop even more. I know you guys well enough.
They're upstairs.
The indoor pipes are already made.
Yeah, they're setting. Don't trip over me. Sorry about tripped over. Let's see. Yeah, I done had them. I'll walk upstairs with you up here on the race deal. I know they're up here.
So he's really got to do just get them and go, and we're good to go.
Yeah, so yeah. This ain't gonna be hard.
Here I was thinking he was gonna have to make them still.
So in other words, he came prepared.
Yeah, pretty much.
No, they're sitting right here, and you got it right. You got the chrome part right. Them are extra frames for us. So can you see them right there?
Yeah, all right.
Yeah,
they got their mounts on them.
Checkmate.
They're done. They're done, ready to go already.
That's awesome. Well, good luck in Rock Valley this weekend, sir.
We appreciate it. We'll see y'all down the road somewhere, and thanks for having us on there.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. One thing about the dirt track racing, you can see the amount of tires.
Good Lord.
Get the computer right. Yeah.
And those are all just ones. You can't even use them anymore. Or can you? Can you use them?
They're brand new.
Oh, they are brand new.
These are all brand new. That's why they come, like, I guess when they come in the crates or whatever shipping. No, all them are. Now, them are used ones down there, but all these here are brand new tires.
Wow.
Yeah, you get on a bad track, you'll go through 4 to 6 tires a night.
A night?
If it
Sounds like
rubbers
mini
down,
rods.
you'll get a set of tires quick.
Wow.
Well, guys, thanks for having us. We appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
See ya.
See ya.
See you.
Man, why that was a fun one to do. He got me with the stacks already. I wasn't expecting him to have the stacks. You're muted, by the way, bud.
Yeah, sorry, that was my fault.
Yeah,
clicked the
I
mute.
wouldn't expect him to have the stacks already made. That he got me on that one.
That was probably just a package deal. Just like, hey,
Might as
might as well
well.
have these in case. Might as well have
Yeah.
these in case you're gonna go indoor polling. So
Yeah, something tells me we'll see him Midwest Winter Nationals in January.
no, they'll be down the road somewhere. I mean, there's only when you really don't have much to do, or when stuff slows down in the winter, you gotta find something else to do.
Yeah, exactly right. Have we done a show since Toma happened? I can't remember if we have or haven't.
We did it. The last show was on Toma Tuesday.
Okay, so we haven't even gone through all that. I mean, you were there. Thursday got rained out completely. They only ran the one track on Friday during the afternoon session.
Toma was, how do I say
Weird.
interesting? It was
It was
weird. Yeah, it was
weird.
weird. I've never seen in the history of Toma run one track ever. No
I
matter
haven't
the
either.
rain, no matter the rain, no matter what circumstances happen, I've never seen that. And whatever happened, whether it was good, bad, or indifferent, it happened. I mean, the track was still there. I mean, it got better throughout the session, and everybody had to pull on the same track, so there's nothing you could do. And it definitely threw the second session for a loop, no matter what class was on that side. The Unlimiteds were real heavy sled setting. The Pro Stocks was a one-lane track. Super Farms were indifferent. I mean, nothing got ran on it, so
Yeah,
there wasn't really anything to go off of.
Super Farms were the typical Super Farm testers.
Yeah, track builders, as we always say, or track groomers.
Yeah,
But-
like always.
Yeah, Toma was just different this year. Obviously, being the 50th, there was a lot of hype around it because always when it comes to a big anniversary, like even the 40th or 45th, there's always hype around it. And even being a Super National is always hype too. But it just had a different feeling. It just everybody knew weather was coming. I mean, it's Toma. It rains every year. We know this. And Toma's going to do like they do every year and put on a show no matter how much rain's going to come because they're prepared for it. So I give kudos to that team with how much rain they had. They still put on a hell of a show and made the track as best as they possibly could.
Yeah. By the way, I think Facebook's broken because it quit loading on my screen. So whoever's watching, I don't know how you're really doing that, to be honest. But anyway, yeah, man. From watching it from a distance there, I pulled to my hometown too, and like I said, we got to run Friday, and then Saturday we got rained out, so it'll be all right. We'll be ready for Brandenburg, I reckon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we did our little watch along deal for Ohio too.
Yeah, the stint of Ohio polling has started, and all their fairs are piling up into 1 week
All
at a time.
one time. Yeah, I know.
Oh my word!
Yeah, so now that one that we did that night though, that was actually pretty fun.
I've actually never sat down, and the only Ohio polls I've ever been to are Bowling Green and the Inderley, so I don't really know much about the regional polling side of Ohio. All we've been told.
We knew the names in the classes though. Like
we knew the names
was a lot of fun.
We knew the names in the classes. It was more or less the show itself, because all we've been told from no experience of us being there and polling at any regional show or watching them in person is that the Ohio crowds are different. The Ohio tracks are different. There's just something different about that state when it comes to polling. And they're right. That crowd for a regional show in the middle of a week.
In the middle of the week. Yeah.
Yeah. That was stout. And the show was actually really good too. Competition was good. And they're right. And I'd like to see, much larger shows too that they put on out there, because obviously, like when we're in Brandenburg, they have Fort Recovery. Fort Recovery packs people in there like sardines.
Yeah. And I mean, even during their Saturday afternoon session, they do.
Mm-hmm. So, and from just watching that one show alone, even the Ohio State polls, they have a great crowd too. That Ohio just packs people in for polling. That is just a polling state.
I'll tell you tonight. Let's see. Full Pull was streaming that one. I can't remember who it was. Was it in Mount
Gilead?
Yeah, I think was that where it was? The one that we watched that night.
We were watching Marion.
Yeah, we watched Marion, but then we turned around and watched it, but we didn't do a live reaction deal to it. I can't remember, but hearing Hog Hastings and Dan Mayer kind of bounce off of each other, that was a lot of fun. Dan and him kind of going back and forth, giving each other crap on the microphone was kind of fun.
Mm-hmm. Listening to the history of some vehicles that may have, been one vehicle of a team shifted to another. Just it's interesting to hear. And obviously, Hog has been around the Ohio State circuits for a long time.
Yeah. Did you notice that the old Big Toy 2 has a new look?
Yes, and that is
Black
a driver.
hood.
That is actually a driver that had a semi last year.
Really? Who was it?
That's Scott Rule. That's the Rolls Royce semi.
That's who's driving that now. Okay. I
So-
thought that name looked familiar and I couldn't put my face on it.
Both names are familiar because Scott Rule sold the semi to Ken Measle, and Measle has Mining for Dollars and Mining for Mayhem. So those are the two-
Measles got the 2 now. That's right. Okay.
Mhm. So that's where those went. And then Rule, obviously has the alcohol superstock now that used to be a big toy tractor. So Ohio hides some mysteries.
Yeah, they do. And, we were talking about this going back and forth with each other, and I will have this argument here. I still say High Strung would be one heck of a 5.0 tractor still to be cast. You say Light Pro. I don't know what engine he's got underneath it, though. I don't know if he's a full 680. I would assume he is.
I would assume being it's a Deere motor, it'll be. But who knows? I mean, Jeremy Smith has got some different engine combinations. It could, and I'd like to know what Jeremy's got in it. Well, if he'd even say, but if it's a Cyclone engineering, because since he's bought that, if it's one of those R&D motors or what's in it, because it's definitely got a different sound. But
yeah, it does.
What other polls have we? At least on the polling side, what have we been to since?
I haven't been anywhere since my hometown one. I'm heading up to Indiana this weekend to do announce with Charles Zach Howell's shootout. What was the name of it? It was the Central Indiana Light Limited Pro Showdown. The payouts 5,000 above IPL purse to top 3 finishers. The first place getting 2,500, second 15, third 1,000, and that's across 3 nights.
Mhm.
So Charles will be doing this first show in Greentown on Thursday by himself. I'll be up there Friday and Saturday for Greentown and Frankfurt.
Yep, it should be a good time, and hopefully the weather cooperates because last year it obviously didn't.
I hadn't even thought about weather this weekend. That's coming.
It's you have to play it by ear. It happens all the time. Sometimes it's gonna rain. They say it's gonna rain, but like I've said before, weathermen are paid to be wrong. So I mean,
that's true. Junctiontown Showdown went down in Osceola.
yeah. And if anybody watched Osceola, did you notice who was on the seat of a 4-1 and a pro stock?
Yeah, I did. Robbie Russell himself.
Mm-hmm. Rob Russell was on the seat. Was it Jesse Giza's 4-1 and then Matt Hollins?
Yeah, he drove them both. Yeah.
And obviously their team posted that they were not bringing Workhorse because Workhorse was injured. But it was cool to see Rob in the seat of somebody else's just because Rob just has that experience. And for him to pull against his friends like Kevin Masterson and Joey Harris and that team, that was – I wanted to be there in person because that pro stock class looked really good even with only 7 tractors.
Yeah. I hate that Hartmans weren't able to run on Saturday because of the oil pressure issue they'd found. Hopefully they get that figured out because they're going to be running somewhere pretty cool here in the next couple of weeks, I think. They've
already posted where they're going.
Have they already posted it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're going to Chapel Hill.
I'm really excited to see them there too. I think that'll be something that letter A needs to happen. Letter B, they're going to do well there.
Yeah, that's for sure. And
When are we going to get the list for the Chapel Hill rosters, or have we?
I've been sent one of the lists for competition. I have not been sent any others, but that should be. I would assume it'd be out by, well, technically entry closes Monday, so I would assume it'd be out Tuesday.
Whoa. Have you been on the NTPA site today?
Have not.
NTPA rescinds 2026 ban on SFI 6.3 bell housings with bolt-on covers.
Well,
wonder what in the world changed there. Huh.
stir the pot.
Yeah, I guess. Wow.
Well, I guess pull-off's going to be active tomorrow. Hello.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it always is going to be,
But, yeah, I kind of wish
something.
I wish I was not as busy as I was delivering the frame and stuff to Illinois. And then, obviously Lancaster is supposed to happen there on Saturday, but Osceola would have been a cool one to go to because Jesse puts a lot into that show.
Yeah, he does. And that track on Friday, especially starting out, I didn't really know what to expect because, the Smiths, they're still dialing in. They're 4-1. They're still new to the class and everything. But, man, it just kept getting better and better and better. And whenever I went off from doing the free preview there, Adrian Cox had taken the lead with Hickory Hooker. And, I mean, it was just by, like, that much. Like, it was like a super farm or something. Oh, yeah, Summer Sizzler up in Door, Michigan happened this past weekend, too. That was a great show.
Yeah.
Jim Shaindorf is putting in the work to that place, and it's showing. That place was beautiful. The crowd was great. The stream looked good. It was awesome.
Clear weather, good competition. I mean, all class numbers look really good. I mean, obviously, Grand National Light Mods, Grand National Semis, they're going to have their pre-entries, and we saw the numbers there, which were good on both sides.
Yeah.
But the
shout
regional
out to Nick Rotten, man, from Race Wraps, getting shock treatment to win, too.
Man, he's been working on that thing, and he's been working wrenching it.
I don't think it's been expressed enough, like how much he's truly fought that thing here over the last couple of years, and it finally paid off for him there in Door, pretty close to home. I kind of have to wonder if that momentum doesn't follow him to Chapel Hill a little bit.
Well, and he had a solid finish for the only session that full drive had in Toma, which was, I believe, a top 10. And
yeah, you get in the top 10.
Truck,
you're doing something.
That truck has notoriously been good. It's just that little, and everybody has these type of stretches where you think you do everything right, but everything just turns wrong. And it's nothing that he's doing wrong. It's just there was no rabbit's foot or lucky charm in his hand at all at that point in time.
Yeah, no kidding.
And Mick's a proven winner. I mean, he's won Toma before. He's done well there. He's done well other places. It's just everybody has those types of stretches where it just nothing can go right. But man, it was good to see him win.
I'll tell you the other thing I kind of enjoyed a little bit though was the last call, kind of flexing his muscle a little bit on some of the Grand National guys there. Which that's something that people don't understand though about Region 2 Super Farm. It's basically another Grand National circuit just on a regional level.
Oh yeah, there's not one slouch on that regional circuit. I mean, Gervin.
No.
It's different him getting his first win, but that tractor's no slouch on the regional circuit. I mean, anywhere he goes up there, he's up there. Casey's are proven winners.
Man, he had his hand up. I thought he had him. I really did, based off the way the angle was at the camera and everything. I thought he had him.
Mm-hmm. And obviously,
I don't know. Did we ever hear what Ferris's trouble was at first? Starter?
I've not gotten confirmation.
I hadn't either.
So yeah,
Jim Shaindorf won on Lacey's. Is it double or nothing or triple? I can't remember what it was.
Triple play something. I don't know.
Yeah, he won his hometown hook. Would love to have his hometown luck.
Yeah, no kidding. But anything else polling related before we go racing? I think we'll just cover Chapel Hill and that stuff on the back burner before.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I figure we're going to do a show before Chapel Hill anyway. Just because,
Well,
Chapel
it is
Hill.
next week.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, if you're not busy or anything, I would like to.
Oh, well, crap. You're out of luck. Because I'll be.
You're going to be heading this way, ain't you?
No, I'll be Monticello.
4. ECI.
I had ECI Tuesday and then Badger State / Western Series Wednesday.
Oh, are they doing that again? The Western Series and Badger State crossover show.
Yeah. I have to play tool drive crew chief this time because someone does not have help. No. I don't know.
Sullivan.
No.
Who you playing crew? Boy.
Andrew. I don't know if Andrew's still watching, but
Sprock.
Andrew Sprock.
Oh, Lord.
So
all the late night conversations. Oh, Lord.
Yeah, he's coming up here. So that may be just a solo show or just, wait till him. But I think we should jump into the racing side because this week there's been cool stuff in racing happening, but this week's kind of one to watch for.
Yeah.
If you know what I'm mentioning about. And the IHRA has, I say, came back to life, but we don't know yet.
Yeah, I think that's a fair statement. We got to give a shout out, though, to Spencer Hyde and Courtney Enders on their engagement on July 4th, though.
What a dude.
We got to get that knocked out of the way first.
And,
it's like
for
you
him,
said, he proposed to her on July 4th, but she's got to move to Canada.
Kind of funny. But, yeah, and that funny car rap, too, for his honoring his dad. With
Dude, you're telling me. That thing was awesome. And they had the original car sitting out there, too.
Biscayne there. That was a cool tribute. And Spencer's
I didn't
a good
realize
dude.
that Norwalk was that close to home for him. I know it's basically his home race, but I didn't realize it was that close.
Yeah, because you're right through Detroit down from Ontario, right in Ohio. So, yeah, the NHRA season is kind of on a hiatus for just a few weeks. I believe 2 weeks ago they go back on their swing. They go to Seattle and Sonoma. But yep. I guess I'll start with the NHRA here. But Corey Reed getting his first pro stock win was pretty dang cool.
Oh, did he get one?
So Norwalk, one of the hottest races they've ever seen. I think it was 148 or 149 degree racetrack. As it started, went throughout the day, and it was tricky like normal. Virginia was just as hot, smoking the tires, hard to get down for everybody. But at the end of the day, Sunday turned out pretty good. Top Fuel's Justin Ashley kind of avenged the win he had in Virginia that he did not want to accept. Coming back and winning it for real was cool to see. The funny car side, Austin Prock just continues to dominate that class. John Force Racing has just got a handle on the funny car side. And if they keep up the momentum, I don't know who's going to stop them. Either one of those cars, Jack or Austin. Jimmy Prock and Thomas have got Austin's car on a handle, and it's not like the other teams are doing bad. It's just those guys are so in sync right now that you can't mess them up.
Yeah, they really are.
But going to the two, I wouldn't say oddball winners, but the two different winners that nobody expected. Corey Reed, who came from the pro stock motorcycle ranks and switched over to pro stock car, getting his first win with his best friend Joey Gladstone on the starting line at a historic race such as Norwalk, was very cool to see. And if anybody's ever seen Corey Reed, they call him the caveman because he looks like a caveman. And the story was that it got so hot he just couldn't stand it anymore. He shaved his beard off and only kept the mustache for race day.
Did he really?
And then he won. And then he won. So could be something there, but it was cool to see a guy and a family. It's like Corey Reed and then Jim and Annie Whiteley with J&A Service, who's put so much into the motorsports industry. See them come and win as a race such as Norwalk is really cool. And then finish out Norwalk was John Hall on Pro Stock Motorcycle getting his first win in 12 years.
Oh, wow. Really?
12 years he went without winning a race.
That's crazy.
And I know anybody that's an HRA fan knows that watching Gage Herrera and Matt Smith and even Richard Gatz and Angie completely dominate the class is kind of cool in a sense because you get some new blood with Richard and Gage, but it's still the same people over and over again. And we've seen John Hall being one of those guys that comes out and breaks the ice and wins it there. Very cool to see. So, yeah, they got a couple weeks off until they go to Seattle, and then they go Sonoma back-to-back for what is considered a Western swing, but not really anymore. And then they'll go to Brainerd on the week of Bowling Green, and then they'll go into starting the countdown when they go to Indy.
Yeah, Indy's always a good time, right?
I want to go to Indianapolis very badly.
So, do you know what race I just realized is the weekend after Bowling Green?
That would be PDRA.
Thunder in the Valley.
Is that really?
Mm-hmm. Bristol's only about 4 hours from my house.
Well, then you better get packing.
Let's see. When is the 23rd? A Saturday or a Sunday? It has to be a Saturday.
Yes, Saturday, because the 16th is Saturday at Bowling Green.
That is purely going to depend on if I have to work or not. That is all that'll hinge on, though. But
Well, Tyler Crossdale, you better get ready.
Yeah. Tell you what I'd really like to go to is that one that's on my birthday weekend in Benson again.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
Let's swing through their point standings right now because there's some interesting points races shaping up right now. Amber is leading the Pro Nitrous category with Marcus Butner sitting number 2 and then Tommy Franklin sitting 3rd. Amber's leading the way so far. She's having one heck of a year already.
That's what the OG Jungle we're at, too. That's a really good car.
Yeah, that's OG. Something about the way that thing's built, man. I don't know what it is.
It just wins. It just wins. And it goes down the racetrack all the time. So
yeah, it does. I just clicked
Pro
off
Boost.
the-
Who's Pro Boost? Is that Jason
Hang on.
Pierce? Is that
I'm pulling it back up. I clicked off it by mistake. I know what I'm doing, I promise.
I kind of wish we, on the polling side, we did this too, like kind of did predictions before the points race really started.
Who did you say you thought was leading it?
I may be wrong, but is it Jason Harris or Chris Stedding?
Neither one.
Who is it?
Johnny Camp.
Oh, that's right. Johnny Camp.
He's ahead in points. He's leading Melanie by 11.
Yeah, because Melanie won the first race in Glot and then kind of had a rough stretch.
And then Jason sitting 3rd. Steve King's 4th. Then Ty Tutterow, he won Maryland, didn't he?
I believe he did, yes.
Yeah, he's sitting there 5th now. So isn't it you have to be in the top? Is it top 8 to qualify for nationals, or is it top 10?
I believe top 10. I could be wrong.
Okay.
It's not the whole entire class, but there's a good amount to make a 16 car field.
Right. Yeah, Pro Street. We're sitting here. Blake's leading Pro Street and Ethan Stedding. Man, Blake's got a substantial lead though. He's at 15:22 and Ethan Stedding's at 10:16.
Yeah, but that can change in a heartbeat too, because with the way the points goes for racing, those can be taken down in an instant.
Yeah. Now Blake is in
Lizzie's car.
Lizzie Musey's car. That's right.
And then Ethan is in the Camaro of P2 Contracting.
Yeah. Now, I'm assuming since he got 541 points in Galot, which was an opener, and then he got 540 in Maryland, I think he's won both of those. I'm assuming
that'd be correct. I think that's right.
Yeah. So he's looking good. Extreme Pro Stock. Alan Drinkwater. That's legitimately his name.
Yep, Drinkwater.
Wow. Jerry Huffman and Chris Powers, they're all right there in a tight race together. Extreme Pro Stock. Oh, wait, that's one I just clicked on. Pro 632. Jeff Melnick, Walter Langen, and Lexi Tanner. Now, wait a minute. Lexi Tanner, is that
would be
sister?
Well, it's Melanie. I believe it's Slemy's stepdaughter. Could be wrong.
Okay.
And I'm not familiar, so there's a relation there somewhere.
I mean, neither.
So, yeah. But if they're not paying attention to PDRA when the races are on,
dude, you are doing yourself a disservice if you're not.
Mm-hmm.
They're so fun to watch, and they put on great races all year long.
Yep, for sure.
And then definitely make sure you check out the Boostin' and Bullshit podcast too.
Yeah, that's a really fun podcast with Steve King, Jason Harris, and Jeff Rudolph.
You never know who's going to pop in there either.
Yeah, no kidding. That is not a joke. What else? What else do we want to really get on?
I don't know. I mean, do we have anything else that we've missed? I think that's my biggest thing.
I've got 3 things and 2 more events. One, I'll be curious to see where IHRA goes this weekend. Because having 8 Top Fuel cars and 10 funny cars at your first race back in who knows how long.
They got that many.
Impressive. Yes, there's 8 Top Fuel cars and 10 funny cars.
I wonder what?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
So I'll be curious to see where after this weekend it goes, because there is a ton of classes running this weekend. I think there's like 15 or 16 classes this weekend alone, including Pro Mod, Top Alcohol Dragster, Top Alcohol Funny Car, and stuff like that. So definitely wish those who are competing best of luck. I'll be curious to see, because you're on a really good surface at National Trail. And obviously the NHRA world will also be on watch there, because NHRA's off, and if you're any type of racing fan, you're going to pay attention to something that's got fuel cars. So
yeah, exactly right. Want to throw out there that Hot Shot Secrets Pro Pulling League is in Joliet, Illinois this weekend.
Joliet's this weekend.
Yeah, Unlimited Supers, Super Stock Diesel Trucks, Super Farms, Pro 4-wheel drives, and Mack Trailer Hot Rod Semis.
That track last year, even with the rain, was still a pretty good track from videos I've seen. So Outlaws, NTPA is off this week, at least for Grand National. There are some regional ones, such as Decorah Thursday.
Let me see what Full Pull's streaming this weekend. That'll be easier, to be honest with you.
Full Pull will be streaming for sure Decorah on Thursday.
Full Pull is in Rock Valley this weekend. We know that. Come on, load up for me. Concord. They're in Concord, Nebraska tomorrow. Charlotte, Michigan for Region 2 on Thursday, along with Rock Valley. Onwa, Iowa. Decorah for Region 3. Are you going to Decorah?
I'm going to Decorah on Thursday. I do not know if I'll be in, because I don't know if football's streaming Eagle Grove on Friday or not.
River Falls this weekend.
River Falls, I will not be there. Our tractor will also not be there.
Wilmington, Ohio, that'll be a good pull.
Mm-hmm. Wilmington's always a good one.
And that's it for this weekend, as far as the streaming side goes.
There will be a lot more starting next week again, because next week starts what we call here in Iowa Hell Week. Monday to Sunday.
Yeah.
So
make sure if you guys haven't subscribed to the two streaming services too for y'all's pulling this weekend, y'all do. You guys can I think it was $2.99 for the Pro Pulling League TV bundle. You get like 38 events. It's like a one-time payment deal. It's like 38 events, OSCPA and all that's included. Then Full Pull's $39.99 a month, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
So there's plenty of places to be able to watch pulling and plenty of pulls to watch now. We're kind of getting to that point where racing kind of is like there isn't really a pull going on that isn't being streamed, at least, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yep, there's always something going on. It's always some place to watch it. Do you have anything before I go on my last 2 points or last 2 things?
No, go ahead.
Please, for any driver out there, please wear your safety equipment. We're not going to show the videos either, but please have your visor down, because whenever alcohol and a spark ignite on a fire suit or your face, it burns. And do not need to lose anybody's eyesight because of it, or any type of. Please wear your fire pants. Please wear a fire jacket, gloves.
Your freaking gloves, dude. The gloves.
Wear it. And we're not going to name names, but please wear it.
I'll be honest, the other thing that's on my nerves right now is the shoes.
That too.
I'm seeing that a lot.
Boots do not cover it.
No.
Tennis shoes also do not cover it. They're even worse.
Who's driving tennis shoes?
You'd be surprised.
I ain't never seen that.
Mm-hmm.
I
So
feel like
yes,
I'm all Paw sitting over here with my glasses on, look like that with the crazy eyes. Like I look like crazy Paw.
but please, everybody in polling, racing, dirt track, doesn't matter. Please wear your safety equipment. It is
It's imperative.
imperative for your safety as well as the insurance side. So
Yeah.
there's the end of that rant. But I think we should finish off at least because I don't know if we're gonna have a show or not, but we're more likely.
We're gonna do something. I don't know what.
But Chapel Hill's next week, if anybody hadn't heard.
Yeah. First time that Superstock diesel trucks will be on the grounds for there. I think they've got 6 of them coming.
I think it's 6 lined out.
Yeah.
There's one truck I don't know if it's even got an engine in it yet, so we'll see.
That's a problem.
Yeah, and I know where it sits.
Indiana. Oh,
no.
What about freaking Trip Hazley driving after the Tommy John surgery? I saw inside the cab he still had his brace on and everything from the Tommy John.
Well, knowing
What
Trip,
about
he's probably still chicken winging it. So
God, I bet it hurt after he was done though. He can tough it out all he wants. I know it hurt.
mm-hmm. But
so, I just got a text message that said be on the lookout for something coming out of Southern Indiana this weekend as well. So we'll see what that is all about, I guess.
I don't know if that's racing or polling. So
Polling. That's a return of a tractor that hadn't been around in a long time.
there's also one of those coming up here too. So
Which one of yours is coming out of the woodworks?
We'll discuss that after the show.
Okay. All right, y'all. That's going to do it for episode number 50. We will see you guys again soon.
Keep
more
on the lookout.
podcasts coming up this week. If you guys get the chance, by the way, we know we did not promote that watch along that we did for Marion, Ohio, at all. That was a complete last minute deal.
For this one either.
Yeah. We're going to try to do more of those in the future, the watch along. Somewhere if it's NTPA or PPL or whatever we can do. We're going to try to do some more, I think. It was a lot of fun the night we did it.
Mm-hmm, for sure. But, yeah, I've got nothing else for news or events going on. I mean, episode 50, that's all I got.
Yeah. So until then, guys, make sure you're sharing, subscribing to us. And that does a lot for us, especially the likes on our page. You have to like our page. Following it's all good and dandy, but apparently it's the likes that go out so much better. I don't know why, but it just does. So until then, we will see y'all later. Have a good night.
See you.